Privileged position to be in. He's had 2 laps of one of the toughest race circuits in Great Britain, and I need to figure out just how good that feeling is. I need to go and find him and say, dude, tell me all about it.
Because it is such a unique experience for everything that we're saying about it being an all-electric race series, but that difference of being in iconic venues around the world that you don't immediately associate with motorsport. Coming into Battersea Park, like you said yesterday, you know, 7 days of the week it's a public park, and now we've got this racing circuit where legendary driving names are racing against each other, and a movie star gets a glimpse of what that must feel like.
That's it. I mean, when you look at the history of motor racing and you look at the history of London, it's only been a few times that the two have been intertwined. I mean, the only permanent racing venue we still have in London is the Wimbledon Stock Car Stadium, which is actually in danger of falling out of the city at the moment. And that's something that we...
Well, I'm back in another grand finale of the Drive of the Future FIA Formula E World Championship in London in Battersea Park. There's going to be spectacular racing today.
It's always because the first drivers will go on to a slightly dirty circuit because there's not been any track activity for a while. The first 2 or 3 groups have gone out, they've laid rubber down on the circuit, so it's at its peak at that point. It's warmer, it's been running a little bit by the other cars, so that's when drivers really want to go out, right at the very end, when the track is at its hottest, when it's at its most grippy, so everybody wants to go out last, no one wants to be the first one out.
It's so interesting because seeing them here, and I'm sure you guys will agree, there is a bit of camaraderie, it's very relaxed, lots of people chatting to each other, but you could see from Seb, he was so interested where Lucas GRAZZI was going to start. So it kind of really gets serious now, despite all the facade up here.
That was the first big moment of the day, figuring out which driver was going into which group. And obviously, you saw, yeah, there is a lot of banter with these guys, as well as rivals. These guys are friends, you know, they share every weekend of the season together, week in, week out. They've all grown up together in the various different runs of motor racing, and they've all come back together. This is for us watching, and they love the sport, they love getting involved in the fans and the emotion of the championship, but that was the first real serious moment of today's racing. The fact that they're in different groups, and the weather being as variable as it is, that could be crucial.
It seems a good time just to remind you, I know, the final round of the season you will be totally down with this already, but fan booths obviously playing a crucial role today when every point matters. We've got 2 protagonists fighting out, just 3 points separating them, and a real fight on, a real battle for third. So fan booths will make a difference to 3 drivers, and you can vote right up until 6 minutes into the race. They will get an extra 100 kilojoules of energy. That could be important today.
Absolutely, especially considering I can see so many Brazilian fans in the crowd, so many French fans in the crowd as well. So there's going to be a lot of people rooting for BUEMI and GRAZZI today. Seems to be quite a lot of Vergne fans in the crowd, a lot of Bruno Senna fans in the crowd as well today. So I wouldn't be surprised if those 3 are in the pecking order. Interestingly, Nick Heidfeld was one of the drivers that got the fan boost yesterday. He's got a big following in Formula E as well. But we need the British love. Come on, this is the London EPRIX. Where are the Bird fans, the Conway fans?
Yay!
There we go. All of the serving flags right at the back of the EPRIX village as well. So there's 3 British drivers. If you want to give them some extra love, you absolutely can. You just need to Instagram, #fanboost, or Twitter as well, #the driver's name. It's so simple, isn't it?
It is, and let's be honest, the Brits are actually doing very well this weekend. Turvey was in the top 3 on merit yesterday, so Oliver Turvey, a genuine chance at the podium again today because he almost got the job done yesterday. Mike Conway in the first practice session, he was flying in that red shoe, he got it in the top 4. Again, that wasn't by accident, he's really pushing hard. And everyone knows what Sam Bird can do. He won here last year, he's still the only driver to win on home soil, and if anybody's going to get the job done, it's going to be Sam Bird.
Yay!
Love in the crowd, so let me just remind you again, Twitter or Instagram is #fanboost, #the driver's name, first name and second name. Or you can download the app and vote for free, or you can go onto the FIA Formula E website and vote from there. It could make a difference today. Remember, qualifying is up at midday. They'll be looking to get into that Julius Baer Super Bowl for the extra 3 points if they get pole position. That could play an important part, as could the Bees' fastest lap as well. All these points, and there's only 3 points in it. There's 30 available. Let's say, for example, that Lucas GRAZZI gets the Julius Baer pole position.
fair enough. But what if then, in the race, Sebastian Buemi gets the lead fastest lap? That means there's only 1 point between them again, and that will tighten up the battle. Then it will be about where they finish on track. 25 points for the win, 18 for second. So if they're battling for the victory, whoever one of them wins will be the champion. And we've also got that battle for third position in the Drivers' Championship between Nico Prost, Sam Bird and Jerome D'Ambrosio. That's going to be incredibly close as well, and they're all going to be fighting in the midst of the top 6 for their positions as well. So the outcome of this race isn't just critical for the championship for the drivers, third place is up for grabs as well.
It promises to be an exciting day when it's so tense to come to the climax of the season. It's what you always want. It could come down, if it's like last year, it could come down to the last lap, last corner, which is what we want to see. Now, at the moment, spend so much time in motorsport just looking ahead. It looks quite nice, but we know, like yesterday, a downpour can come from anywhere. But luckily, their Michelin tyres means that they can go out racing in dry or the wet. Let's hear more from Michelin.
And then
Pretty close to winning again, so just tell me about, yeah, it'll be exciting for Renault to win again and go for it.
It's almost time for the qualifying, and I'm getting ready to go to the gate. Stand viewing platform, silver at 15. Here we go. Qualifying time.
They have 6 minutes, and that is all they have.
6 minutes? Not cooler, Rooney.
Qualifying sessions, the fastest 5 drivers will go through to the Super Bowl shootout, where they will take the track one at a time. But right now, look at the next screens, you'll see Nico Prost. He took pole yesterday. He was helped by the fact that rain came down after he'd done his run. He was in the first qualifying group, the one they least want to go out to, but it worked at his advantage yesterday. And
he goes up behind, but he goes for it into the Millennium Chicane, and he gets the job done. That's interesting. It was almost like as a reaction to BUEMI, but I'll just keep one between us. Just keep one car between. The GRAZZI now 8th, BUEMI now 9th. But the next car ahead of the GRAZZI is his teammate, Daniel Abt. Yep. So that's going to be easier for him to pass. And the next 2 cars ahead of BUEMI are going to make it bloody difficult. So it could be interesting here. On board we go with the Brazilian, the championship leader, leading the...
They shouldn't suffer from traffic, because with only 5 cars out there onto the circuit, led by Nico Prost. His garage was the one closest to pit exit, so he's the first one out of the track. He'll be joined by Nelson Piquet Jr., by Loic Duval, who's the driver, I think, following behind him for Dragon Racing, Jerome D'Ambrosio, to identify which is which, because 2 drivers from Dragon Racing, their cars are black and red. And Sam Bird, he is the driver on screen. He won this event last year for DS Virgin Racing. Is the 5th driver out on the 4th driver out on the track, because we're now riding on board. If you've got the giant screens going down towards race control, turn the chart there. Nelson Piquet Jr., who took the inaugural FIA Formula E Championship title by the solus point, just 1 point last year ahead of Sebastian BUEMI. This year, not in the hunt, I'm afraid, Nelson Piquet Jr. He did take the fastest lap of yesterday's race, but if you're looking for the fastest cars out on the track this weekend, it does look as though Team Edams, there is their lead driver, Sebastian BUEMI, until the 3rd qualifying session. Enough time just to watch the car's behaviour as his teammate Nico Prost goes about his business out on the circuit. In the second championship, Formula E Series, they've been freed up on engine. Certainly the Renault, Power, and Edams team seems very strong indeed. Nico Prost took pole yesterday. His fastest lap was 1 minute 23.247 seconds, but the record books will show that he actually ended up taking it slower than that, because the track was wetted by a brief flurry of rain before the Super Bowl shootout. But Nico took that all-important pole position yesterday, winning 3 bonus points in the championship, and in fact his tally with victory yesterday was a tally of 28 points, and that moved him ahead of Sam Berner up into 3rd place. Teammate Sebastian BUEMI will be out in the 3rd session in the number 9 blue and yellow car from Renault Edams, and the number 11 car, red, yellow and green, of Lucas Di Grassi, which will be in the 2nd session, Abt Scheffler Audi Sport. You'll notice increasingly over the years ahead, manufacturer names being tied in with Formula E, because this is a championship that's incredibly innovative, and the rise of hybrid road cars is continuing apace, and everybody wants to be involved. If it's your first sight of the BATTERSEA Park circuit, 2.925 kilometres, shorter only than Beijing, it's the 2nd longest Formula E circuit. Bumpy, narrow, unforgettable. Escape roads turn at 3 most notably. Did not run straight to sometimes they're breaking points and going a little too deep into the corner, but right now it's about getting heat into the tyres. This is the lap of count with the next one around. That's what times will do. They effectively get 3 laps running out lap, flying lap, and then in lap, and then it's the turn. As you can see, we're already halfway through qualifying session number 1, still waiting for the first flying laps to be delivered, and the first driver to do so will be this driver, Nico Prost. 1 minute 28.824 is the 2nd flight lap that really counts. So 2.5 minutes to go, and expect a quick time to be in the 1 minute 23s, maybe even after this morning's running down to 1 minute 22 as well. Getting more and more used to this circuit, Jerome D'Ambrosio chasing Nico Prost around the track. He's in number 7. If you're looking for the numbers on the rear wings of the car, well, just below the rear wings, it's the rear bodywork, the fairings just behind the rear wheels on either side. And to identify the difference between the Dragon cars, Jerome D'Ambrosio is in number 7, and the sister car, number 6, is Loic Duval. Blue helmet in the red, yellow and green, Abt Scheffler Audi Sports entry. Clock gets 12, out they go. Going to be joined on the circuit by Mike Conway, number 12, Venturi, Simona De Silvestro, blue and white car from Amlin Andretti, that's number 28. Martin Bar, Team Guri, that's the golf race delivery. The second of the two cars going out from next, the aerial shot showing down behind De Silvestro. And Jean-Eric Willow finished on the podium yesterday in number 25, DS Virgin Racing. Mike Conway, British racer. Looks like it's going to be the last one out. They should all have clear track, only 5 cars. He's going to give himself some half lap to Martin. He's still a time of natural. First flying lap is getting ties up the temperature, and then the second flying lap. De Silvestro going on undulating start, finish straight behind with gold helmets, white, orange, and blue, apart from Team Gary, Martin R from China. Conway late. Now he was going away, you can see the professional tyres and the sticker version. Now he goes exactly as Nelson Piquet Jr. did in the first session. So, target time, exceptional lap, 1:22.878 seconds. Of the FIA Formula E Championship. Best time yesterday, 1:23.4247, so 4/10 of a second back between yesterday and today. Straight, you can see the car. Okay, it's a foreshortening effect. If you're looking at the giant screen, you're looking at the longer straight track, 493 metres, and then the track turns to the left and the right, and it's super tight turn 3. Second car through in the group will be Jean-Eric Burns, DS Virgin Racing, on the podium yesterday in 3rd place, looking for another top result. Certainly was in the thick of the back, as was GRAZZI every time we looked at screens. GRAZZI taking the shortest start through 4 and 5, followed by 6 and 7, then there's a tight left at turn 8, and then chicane at 9 and 10, and the shortest back straight, and then turns 11 and 12, then the wonderful arcing section of the lap. What they get is going to be 9, 10. Timing segment with 2-3 timing segments around the lap. International race circuit's always split into 3, so we can check on the driver's performance at various points around the lap. Now through the long right, the left-hander at turn 13, such a testing corner, stays on the racing line. This is a slow part of the track, but you have to be so precise to get the power down as soon as you can, out of 15, carrying through 60, and accelerate up to the start, finish line, cross out that last time, 7.001, so Lucas Grassi really flying. He's maybe that time visualising the circuit as we sat in those closing minutes, unloading the 200 kilowatt power these cars have in practice and qualifying trip. For the race they go down to 170, but there's the whole element of fan boost. You, if you're a favourite driver, top 3 drivers on the public nominations will get an extra.
Absolutely flat.
About 30 kilowatts of power. Use one to last for 5 seconds.
9/10 of a second down on the Nico Cross. Here comes Simona De Silvestro meanwhile. How's her lap been so far? She's 1.5 seconds down after the middle sector, so I think a mistake in there somewhere for Simona as she comes into the final sequence of corners. Now, she's only had 5 laps of running today because of problems in FP1 across the line, and it's 8th quick. It's still quicker than Mike Conway, but Conway has just started his flying lap. He's 8/10 down after the first 2 sectors, so Conway, if he hooks it up, could join that 4th. Conway's just coming through turn 13 there. There we are. Yeah. Onto the brakes. He could. He can get in with the 4th to 7th gang. I think he'd be very, very happy. Across the line he comes. Where's it going to put him? 8th, just outside of that group by 1/10 of a second. Incredibly tight with that. Yeah. Just the wrong side of that 23-9 group. Yeah, it's not good enough there. So, there's Sam Bird down to 4th position, out-qualified as it stands by his teammate Jean-Eric Burns by 1/10 and a half as the second session, the second group comes to a close.
24-0. Currently you are 8 or something. First sector was okay.
So 10 currently. Positives are, he's out qualified.
He is a very nice balance on the car. Udam's racer down through turns 1 and 2. To turn 3 again, nice and tidy. No histrionics there. How aggressive will he be over the curbing through 4 and 5. Yeah, pretty good, nice clean line, close to the ball, but as we saw yesterday, you can get too close. The smallest touch with the ball can put you into the barriers on the far side. I think it was Stefan Sarazan we saw getting it wrong and turn 8. Just been negotiated by Nico Prost. Again, very few straight lines to the Battersea Park circuit. So the target time for him is to get 1 minute 22.974 or faster. Very honour to see if he can make it 2 poles in 2 days. Yesterday he was given a helping hand by the weather changing, the rain coming down ahead of the 3rd qualifying group. Today no conditions absolutely equal. It would be a real feather in his cap if he can put one over his teammate Sebastian BUEMI. Do you help your teammate or do you help yourself? So they always say.
He carries to the left before. I think he's done enough to get the front row. Prost out towards the line. Will it be front row? Yes, it is, but only by 0.027 seconds.
Pour le moment. Retour, on respecte les 120%, maximum time, 1:35. Maximum time.
And that is big news for the GRAZZI. He knows now he may well have a buffer between he and Sebastian BUEMI. 0.027 seconds.
Puffs out his cheeks. So, like all the top drivers, maximising the braking by being as late as they can. Nico Prost.
That is really alright. It's all up to Sebastian BUEMI now. Can he do the lap? His teammate's done the job. He's taken the points away from Lucas de Grassi. Help BUEMI to go earn it. Is the reaction of de Grassi? Yeah. Wow. Show your pin on that one. Tell me this is just another race, Lucas. Here comes Sebastian BUEMI. Turns it up to full power. This to take.
Well, they get in line for the driver autographs. It's Cooler Rooney. Over there is a big bottle of champagne steaming comes up. Be more streamers and confetti.
Aquele que vai ganhar.
Thank you so much, Romilly. So this is writing it about a documentary I watched on catfish, not the internet people, an actual fish in a lake. And then I started thinking about killer whales in SeaWorld, basically animals in captivity. And then I started thinking about men and men in captivity. Kind of came up with this song. It's called Nature of the Beast. Oh, it's survival of the fittest, and she's already won. She's left to fingerprints. The damage has been done, and it's so irrational for me to feel the way I do. Oh, it's so illogical, I can't explain it to you.
That is a big champagne when they open for a big celebration.
Take my hand and hold it tightly. The nature of the beast will break me down, but do it quietly. It's the nature of the beast, preying on the weak. Oh, it's the nature of the beast. Come on, just fell right now. I'm trying to let you out. I want a little shake in the glass, in the category. Shake in the head, in the shoulder to head. The breaking down, the making up. Give me your reaction. I want a little shake in the glass, in the category. Shake in the head, in the shoulder to head. The breaking down, the making up. Give me your reaction. It's easy to lose trust and keep it all right, and This could be something, something that could break over. What you fight for? What you fight for? Break over. What you fight for?
Kieran, who had a go, and he soon found out that some of these Formula E drivers would give them a chance on the screens and they can be pretty rough indeed. I'm sure he was inverted at some point. There he goes, that was the end of his race, but showed great form, a regular sim racer getting to take on the pros. And smiles around as he got to be interviewed by Nicky Shields. And there is EJ, Formula EJ. Oh man, nobody knows his identity. He's been using some great tunes this weekend. Deck chairs if you want to sit and watch on the giant screens, and many lucky people around the circuit out in the grandstands. Hopefully they've all got the Visa-sponsored earpiece so you can listen to the radio, the PA commentary. That's me, Bruce Jones, speaking from behind the main stage. And if you look at the giant screens, there is the main stage in the E-Village on the right-hand side of the trees. Do go down at the end. Fantastic podium ceremony. And now, here we have Fanboost, Sebastian BUEMI. We've still got 10 minutes until this closes. 26% won him, Sarazan 25. GRAZZI now up into third place. The top three drivers in the next 10 minutes will work in the first series 2014 and 2015. It worked very well indeed, thank you. And development is even faster in the racing cars than it is on the road cars, but road cars are still taking great strides into the hybrid world. So, looking out over the roof of London, many landmarks, of course.
Of two humans going head-to-head. We're here in Battersea Park, London, for the 10th and final round of the second season of FIA Formula E. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary booth here in London is Dario Franchitti. And this is how the grid will line up for the season finale. Sebastian BUEMI starts on pole position, his 6th pole position. If he wins the race,
will be starting for that vital pole position. His teammate Mr. GRAZZI in this championship battle. Jordan Vernon was right into the ad races yesterday and finished on the podium. Sam Bird looks like he's getting on about the last lap problem and dropped a handful of positions. He will start set 8th. Nelson Piquet Jr. took victory here last year. This time around, not so lucky, further down the grid. Jerome D'Ambrosio from Dragon Racing will be starting from 10th on the grid. His teammate Lloyd Tubarton, he's been put back 10 places because of the gearbox change. Then comes Mike Conway. Bruno Senna in the second of the Mahindra Racing cars will start from 12th. The first, the Gulf livery cars, Antonio Fitz, the Costa will start 14th for Team Gori. 14th place on the grid, Stefan Sarazan for Venturi. Great piece of the Venturi team. Likewise for Andy Andretti, not so good either. Robin Fright's been in the battle every time we've had a look. Could have finished 4th yesterday, but got knocked out of the race. His teammate Simona de Silvestro, the only female racer in the race. Marquis Carr will start 17th, and having had that 10-place gearbox change penalty at the back of the grid in 18th place, Lloyd Duval. Look for him making a real charge. If it has to be scored by Sebastian BUEMI, he's equal on points with GRAZZI, but at the moment they both have 3 wins, 2 second places. But if they were to finish on this with no score today, GRAZZI would take the title because he has 2 third places. So a point, preparing a spare car, I'm not sure if this is allowed by Scheffler Team Audi, but leaving the field around, slow right down behind the safety car. Is any damage for Nico Cross leading the race? That great start from Nick Heidfeld went from 5th up to 4th, then after that third corner sorted out up to 2nd place. The 2 cars went straight on. Which 2 cars? The 2 cars belonging to the championship protagonists. But importantly for BUEMI, he's running around in 13th place with normal cars. He has to get up to 10th place to get a point. That will be enough to give him the title. But as you can see, he's missing one important component, the rear wing of his car. So a lot of radio traffic back to the pits. GRAZZI and BUEMI explaining what the damage is to their cars. Very clear. In fact, there's rear end bodywork damage as well for BUEMI, but broken front right suspension. Trying to see if there's any.
Oh, how are we doing? You alright?
Didn't quite make it. Was just held there. So that puts him another lap down. He wants to be ahead of this pack as they go back into racing.
Fantastic start from him. The GRAZZI's having to wait until the whole field have come past, so I think that's going to put him a lap down. and BUEMI's been given a black flag with an orange disc, which means you have to pit if there's something wrong with the car. And
Sam Bird has passed Jean-Eric Verne.
yes, so
teammate.
Bird is up to 5th, Verne down to 6th, and then finally Lucas di Grassi can go.
In line behind Lucas di Grassi. So that's one way of separating the two championship challengers. Let's see, coming out of the pits, there's Lucas di Grassi. The car looks rather better than his first car. And BUEMI is just limping only now into the pits. Did you do a further lap? Trying to see, but anyhow, what we can tell you out on the track, Nico Prost is leading the field from Nick Heidfeld, from Daniel Abt, Oliver Turvey, Sam Bird, and the top 6 completed by Bird's teammates, Jean-Eric Verne.
There you go. Now they're racing.
Limping down the pit lane. Again, as he did yesterday, again ahead of the Mahindra car, Nico Prost putting clear. Yesterday, the Mahindra car was driven by change of place and locking up, and both two of those drivers about to go out there. Sam Bird just gained a place over a fellow Brit, Oliver Turvey, and now Jean-Eric Verne fancies a slide to the action. So suddenly Turvey is the meat and DS Virgin Racing sandwich, and Verne was very aggressive yesterday. And in fact, he saw a lot off the back of Turvey's car yesterday in the closing lap as they ran at 3rd and 4th. But really positive move there. Doesn't have to get the point for 10th. If he gets the point for fastest lap, 2 points are up for offer. That could be enough to give him the title. So I think the team is saying that is what you're going to be aiming for. You have to go for that now. You're not going to pick up a point for getting into the top 10 unless there's all sorts of disasters out on the circuit. A very slow in-lap without a rear wing, or very slow in-lap as well. But don't forget, of course, BUEMI did 1 extra lap behind the safety car. Simona de Silvestro just pushed out of the way by Loic Duval, the red and black Dragon Racing entry, diving up the inside at turn 3. Di Grassi out on the circuit, he may be thinking, my only hope now is to go for the point for fastest lap, or 2 points for fastest lap. So they say you can't ride a script like this. Well, I'll tell you what, I can't ride a script just like this. We look forward to first and third on the grid. Our 2 championship challenges should have been out of the way of the challenges they were right in the monster. It looks like the move had been done by Di Grassi to go past Nico Prost to second place on the run to turn 3, but sadly did not get around with that latter on the back of BUEMI. Now the fight back. There's a sort of sub-story within the race. Sebastian BUEMI still sitting in the pits while they examine his other car. So really, the fact that these drivers won't be able to go out in the second half of the race means they have to get their fastest laps in on the cars, their speeds of the moment. Nico Prost pulling ever further. 1.6 seconds last time around. Heidfeld in second place is really starting to be monstered by Daniel. Other drivers in the points, they go down to 10th place. Mike Conway in 8th, Jerome D'Ambrosio in 9th, and Bruno Senna up 2 places from 12th on the grid to 10th. But of course, 2 cars ahead of him were not quite eliminated, but taken out of the running on that dash to the first corner. So even Stevens holding station for Bruno Senna. Man with the lollipop in the right down down, getting back tired arms, holding that lollipop board there for so long. But Jean-Paul Drio over the radio to the boss. You can see Sebastian BUEMI looking up the whites of his eyes, listening to every single word of advice he's getting from Jean-Paul Drio, who's run the Dams team. Drio Arno Motorsport, shared with Ray Arno long ago to run cars in Formula 3000, been running International Series ever since. Prost continues to escape at the lead. He's 1.8 seconds clear. His last lap was the fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 28.4 seconds. Behind, as we saw yesterday, you can get a chain of cars. BUEMI, Prost and Di Grassi evenly spaced as they run down to the left-hander at turn 2. A little vague look up the inside of turn 1 from Di Grassi. Says, I'll jink one way, down the other. He's made the moves on Prost, but did he leave his braking too late? I feel he did. I think his line was slightly compromised. He just wanted to check that he got past Prost cleanly, which he almost had. Maybe he left his braking just a yard too late. Who's to know? He'll know, and Sebastian BUEMI will both know their respective braking, but it was in neither of their advantage to take the other out of the race, it must be said. First 4 starting to make a bit of a break. A gap of about 3 seconds between Bird in 4th place and his teammate in the number 25 DS Virgin Racer. Bird back in 5th. Wonderful aerial shots to see the boating lane, La Rotunda, the cafe restaurant at the eastern end of the lake. Looking down at that sequence of corners. Now, who set the fastest lap of the race? Not any of the top drivers now. That honour has gone to Loic Duval with that new gearbox. It put him from 10th on the grid back to 18th racer. Can't see anything wrong with it, but it appears to have no power being delivered to the wheels. So for Sam Bird, he won this event 12 months ago, the only driver in Formula E history to win a race on home soil. He's on the radio to the team. but it doesn't look as though he's going to limp his way around them. And annoyingly for him, he's just no motor this year seems to be the one to have. I believe it's just the 2 gears. We're not talking forward and back, we're talking forward and forward, but again he's got the jump on a Mahindra racer. They just can't live with it under that full bore acceleration. Nick Heidfeld holds down second place, Daniel Abt right under his tail, Jean-Eric Verne fourth, and then the 2 next step TCR cars, Oliver Turvey, then a bit of a gap to Nelson Piquet Jr., Mike Conway, Jerome D'Ambrosio, Antonio Felix da Costa and Robin Freitz for Amelin Andretti completes the top 10. Often look to see what circumstances might change in the race. Looking out of the window of my commentary box, the branches are starting to blur a bit more. Does that mean change of weather is coming our way? We had 10 to 33 laps completed. We had 2 safety car periods. Will that be the last of it? I don't think it will. Place changing down in the middle order and contact. Robin Freitz has hit the back of, trying to work out who he's hit. It was Jerome D'Ambrosio, 3 abreast, didn't really work, but Freitz has been the beneficiary there, and poor Jerome. Again, the drivers keeping it clear of the walls wherever possible. The slightest kiss with the wall, we've seen the suspension does what it's supposed to do when you clatter a wall, and it will fold back. It's made to give for the monocoque, the tub in which the drivers sit, is supposed to break clear of that to stop the car from being damaged. But Heidfeld is really bottom that tab behind. Abt doesn't have any power boost today, nor does Heidfeld. Heidfeld had it yesterday. Abt already starting to take a look. It's what you can see in the distance. You can see Nico Prost escaping, running clear at the head of the field. 1.3 seconds clear on the start line, already partway around this lap. He's gained another 9/10 of a second, so Prost is simply having a fantastic weekend. Abt is starting to look to the left into turn 14. He looked to the right later, but between here and the start of the next lap, very little chance to overtake. Turn 17, just too tight. But if you can get a good exit from this final corner of the lap onto the start-finish straight, he might have more momentum going down to the turn 1, 2 and 3 sequence. His title rival, who is now exactly 2 points clear, simply by setting the fastest lap when he came back out in the spare car. Both the drivers needed the spare car. They won't be able to run the duration of this race because, of course, the first car they're in is, well, they're in their second cars, but they can only run just over half distance, so their energy will run out. Both have battered and tattered first cars that limped over the pits on that extraordinary opening lap. Nick Heidfeld, though, he won't be thinking anything about championship circumstances. He just simply wants to put in a really strong finish here. Don't forget, he was Jean-Eric Verne still giving chase to Daniel Abt. That's the battle for second place, but at ease, if you will, Nico Prost can pull clear at the front of the race. He's edged out again after those pit stops. 7.5 seconds clear now. His battle rages for second place behind him. Then Nick Heidfeld has had traffic behind him the whole race. The driver right behind him now is from Team Aguri, and it's Antonio Felix da Costa, who certainly has shown some of the greatest bravery in the overtaking manoeuvres and been the most successful passer thus far in the race. And again, a better exit speed for him. Prost leading by 8.5 seconds in the race. As probably for the last half of a lap, we'll look at this battle for fourth place. Nico Prost running serenely around at the front of the field. Purple time on the timing screen. It's not Lucas di Grassi because he's parked back in the pit lane. It's Sebastian Buemi, fastest sector 1, now fastest in sector 2. Is he about to rub salt in the wound? This is an insurance lap. He's already got the 2 bonus points for fastest lap. He's already heading around the outside of one of the next step TCR cars around turn 13. You don't want to do that. Mike Conway stopped at the side of the circuit, but let's just focus on, can the fastest lap go faster still? Lucas di Grassi, he knows his shot has been made because the checkered flag will be out very soon indeed. But it looks as though Sebastian Buemi is about to rub it in. He's about to extend it his advantage. He's about to take the title. Just 1 minute 24.150, fastest lap ever around here.
Buemi Rooney.
Garcia, a pat on the back. He's out of the car, second in the championship. He'll still have to wait for his first ever racing title. And stand fully why Lucas di Grassi has gone to the corner of the garage and is standing with his head in his hands. A private moment, so the cameras luckily had snatched away and left him with that. But Nico Cross is going to win 2 races out of 2 at Battersea Park, but the championship will go to Sebastian BUEMI. He's many laps down, in fact he's about 15 laps down. He bided his time in the pits. He had his rear wing ripped off in the by the 3rd corner on the opening lap. He had to wait. The 2-point bonus went to his arch rival Lucas de Grassi. But then he set a run of 3 fastest laps, lowering the bar, and now you have to feel, barring a meteor strike, the title is going to go to the Swiss racer. We're on the final lap of the final round of the 2nd FIA Formula E Championship. I thought yesterday was enthralling, but today has had so many subplots you simply cannot believe. The lap. Let me just tell you the running order. It's Nico Prostrom, Christian Anders still fighting further down the order. The 2 Dragon Racing runners, Jean-Eric Verne in 3rd, Nick Heidfeld 4th, Antonio Felix da Costa 5th, Jerome D'Ambrosio and Loic Duval, they're fighting so hard, 6th and 7th, Stefan Sarazan 8th, Bruno Senna 9th, and Oliver Turvey, with almost no power left, has fallen down to 10th place. But Nico Cross, well, there was nothing he could do about the title race. Was he involved in it down on the run to turn 2? I think he was the innocent party. A slight contact with Lucas de Grassi, no blame, I would say, laid at the door. I don't think anybody could say it was laid at Nico's door. He held his line, and he is heading for his 2nd win in this year's championship, bringing it to a fantastic conclusion. He's only got the final corner to take. He was sitting on a lead of 8 seconds. It's fallen to 7 and a bit on this final lap, but victory will be going to Nico Cross. His father will be delighted because not only has his son taken 2 wins from 2 at Battersea Park, but the driver on the other side of the Renault Edams garage, Sebastian BUEMI, will be champion. But wait, there is still a steward's inquiry after the race. What we can celebrate though are the top 3 finishers. They'll be coming to the podium in the E-Village, and if you've never been to a Formula E podium ceremony, they're like nothing else. So do make your way down to the E-Village. The drivers will walk around the